AI, it's probably one of the most powerful tools we've ever created. I mean, it's set to accelerate scientific discovery, totally transform industries, and just change our day-to-day lives. But with all that power comes a huge fundamental question. Who is actually in charge? To even begin to answer that, we've got to understand the frameworks being built right now to guide this technology.
So, for this explainer, we're diving deep into an incredible resource. Our guide is Chapter 2, Governance and Frameworks, from the Ethical AI and AI Security Glossary by Virtualization Options LLC. It's all about the rulebook we're building to steer AI responsibly, and we're going to break it down in a way that makes sense for everyone.
And that really gets to the heart of it, right? As AI weaves itself into pretty much everything, our healthcare, our justice system, you name it, who is actually setting the standards? Who's building these guardrails? This is the core problem we're going to unpack.
Okay, so the first thing we have to wrap our heads around is that this isn't a problem one company or even one country can solve on its own. The scale here is global, which means the solutions have to be too. We really need a collective approach to get everyone reading from the same playbook.
And the big idea behind that global approach is something called multi-stakeholder governance. It's actually a pretty simple but incredibly powerful idea. The people who are affected by AI should have a voice in shaping its rules. This isn't just for the big tech companies. It's all about building in checks and balances, and at the end of the day, building trust by bringing a ton of different viewpoints to the table. So who exactly is at this table? Well, you've got the internal teams, the developers and data scientists who are actually building the tech. You've got the users, the people who interact with it every single day. Then you have the communities, who might be impacted even if they never use the product directly. And of course, you have the regulators and policymakers who are there to represent the public interest. Each one of these groups sees risks and opportunities that the others might completely miss. And you know what? This whole effort to get everyone to the table isn't just a nice idea. In 2021, it led to a massive achievement, the first ever global agreement on the ethics of artificial intelligence. And the scale of this commitment, it's just incredible. This wasn't just a suggestion from a handful of countries. The UNESCO recommendation was adopted by all 193 member states. That's a true global consensus, a shared promise to hold AI to a common set of ethical standards. It was a monumental step forward.
But, establishing a global standard was really just the first step. The next huge challenge is that you can't just write a rule book and walk away. AI technology is evolving at this absolutely dizzying pace, which means the rules have to be just as dynamic. They just can't be set in stone.
And this brings us to this really cool concept called adaptive governance. Think of it like this. The rules you have for a 5-year-old are totally different from the rules you have for a teenager, right? As they grow and change, the rules have to adapt. It's the exact same idea with AI. Adaptive governance frameworks are designed to be living systems that learn and evolve right alongside the technology. And this isn't some chaotic, make-it-up-as-you-go process. It's a structured cycle. You're constantly monitoring for unexpected outcomes. You collect feedback from all those stakeholders we talked about. You regularly review if the policies you have are even working anymore. And then you update the rules based on everything you've learned. It's this continuous loop of improvement. And this isn't just theory. We saw this play out in real time. Remember the explosion of generative AI? Organizations that had these flexible, adaptive frameworks were able to respond almost immediately. They could set new guidelines, address new risks. Meanwhile, organizations with rigid, outdated rules were just left scrambling, a lot of them just defaulting to blanket bans that ended up stifling innovation. So we've got a global framework, and we've got rules that can adapt. But within all of that, there's one principle that stands above all the others, a kind of golden rule, ensuring that a human being always has the final say. This comparison really lays out the two potential futures we're facing. On one side, you've got full AI autonomy. That's where machines make the final call without any oversight, humans lose their agency, and it becomes almost impossible to hold anyone accountable. Then, on the other side, you have meaningful human control. Here, AI is a powerful advisor, but a human makes the final choice, which preserves our dignity and ensures someone is always responsible. This is formally known as the human control principle. And it's basically the assertion that when the stakes are really high, we're talking healthcare, criminal justice, finance, a human has to stay in the driver's seat. It's all about preserving our ability to step in and override the machine when we need to. But here's the crucial point. This control has to be real. It can't just be a person mindlessly clicking approve on whatever the AI spits out. That's not control. That's just being a rubber stamp.
Meaningful control requires genuine understanding, a little scrutiny, and the real authority to say no. Okay, so all these principles are great, but how do we make them practical? How do we give people the actual information they need to exercise that meaningful control? Well, that's where this brilliant idea of an AI nutrition label comes in. This practical tool is called a model card. And honestly, it's exactly what it sounds like, a nutrition label for an AI model. It's a standardized, easy-to-read document that tells you exactly what a model is, how it performs, and, most importantly, what it shouldn't be used for. Take a look at this example for a facial recognition model. Just at a glance, you can see its intended use is for unlocking your phone. But you also immediately see its known limitations. It's less accurate for people with darker skin tones and for older individuals. And it explicitly warns, right there in bold, not to use it for law enforcement without a human verifying it. This is critical, actionable information. At the end of the day, the goal here is so simple and so powerful. Prevent misuse. By being radically transparent about a model's weaknesses and its limits, a model card acts as a practical guardrail. It empowers users to make responsible decisions about how, and maybe more importantly, if they should use it. So after exploring all these frameworks, from global agreements to these adaptive rules to the model cards, we come right back to our original question. With all these guardrails in place, who is ultimately in charge of AI? Ultimately, the answer is us. All of these governance structures are the tools we need to build AI that's safe and trustworthy. They give us the process, the principles, and the transparency. But tools are only as effective as the people who use them. So the real question, as AI continues to grow smarter and smarter, is this. Are we, as a society, prepared to be the ones holding those tools?